cognitive profile, values, and abilities. As Kenyans prepare for the largest learner transition under the competency-based education system, the Ministry of Education has directed all the schools to sensitize all the parents and grade 9 learners on how to select their career pathways ahead of the move to senior school.
We see you are moving towards CBE. And in this case, we are required to have the 3 pathways. And I think so far, the ministry is not even prepared. So I'm urging the Ministry of Education to prepare and fast-track all the necessary machinery that's required so that by next year, January, all the facilities that are required are in place.
This program of CBC and CBE was there for the last 7 years. But now we understand that nothing is in place for transition from junior secondary school to senior secondary school. So we're asking the minister or the CS in charge of the program to ensure that we do not have confusion during this transition. We have only 4 months or so, or 6 months or so remaining. So in those 6 months, we expect all public schools, ziwe na adequate infrastructure, adequate equipment, and adequate teaching staff, so that the smooth, seamless transition of our education system in Delhi.
Placement for senior school has already kicked off on 26th of May this year. They are already uploading the learner's detail in the system. So the ministry will ensure every learner by January is in school. No learner will be left out.
The learners are required to choose from the 3 tracks, that is, system, social science, or art and sports science. The ministry says this sensitization effort through the school forums and parents' engagement will help the family understand the opportunities of each path structure and ensure that within students make informed choice based on interest and ability. But not everyone agrees. Education philanthropist and global education expert Professor Amfiobora has voiced strongly opposed to this approach. You can't expect a child to choose their based on guesswork, he says. There must be prior diagnosis, a scientific assessment of the child in both and natural potential.
Talent is measurable. It has metric values. It is measured in a unit known as GENRE, G-E-N-R-E, from the word genes of a human. So, the symptoms that we're using, like interest, the symptoms you use like competence. Like today, people are talking about competence-based curriculum. Ngojeni kidogo. What is competence? Competence cannot be measured. Competence is a subset of talent. It's an indicator. It's a sign. How will you know the competence of those 6-year-olds? And if you have no method of knowing that, going to take them with assumed competences in the wrong streams. If they go in millions, in 4 years, what do you expect? Don't wait. I know with so many things in the past, people have been thinking we found a
Professor Bora wants that guiding learners into career pathways without understanding who they truly are at the core could lead to the poor outcome and misplaced talent. Obora insisted that real education planning must begin with mapping a learner's cognitive profile, values, and abilities, not just interest or exam performance. As over 1.2 million learners prepare to transit to senior school, the ministry pushes for awareness, while experts like Professor Bora call for the deeper individual assessment. The question remains, will sensitization be enough, or does the future of education require a personalized diagnostic approach? Reporting for Gifted TV, I'm Peter Aching. Kenya's competency-based education system, or CBE, is being championed by the government as a bold step forward for the nation's learners. Education Principal Secretary Julius Bitok recently described it as the best education system in the world for its focus on nurturing learners' individual talent and passion. We are using our new system, KEMIS, to ensure 100% transition from junior to senior school. He said he expects 1.2 million learners to make the shift this year. To support this transition, the Ministry of Education plans to recruit 24,000 teachers and has convened over 1,000 stakeholders.
Na saa hii tunaongelea mambo ya CBE. Kuna mtu alichallenge hapa, bwana umetoka CBC ukaenda CBE. Mnajua tulipoanza CBC about 8 years ago, tulikuwa tunaongea mambo ya curriculum. Tumekuja na curriculum mpaka saa hii tuko grade 9. Tukafanya juicy national conversation huko Nairobi na 1000 stakeholders. Tukasema imefika time ya kurebrand mambo ya CBC ikuwe CBE. Ni kwa sababu sasa tuongelee curriculum. Tunaongelea curriculum, tunaongelea assessment, tunaongelea apps, tunaongelea classrooms, tunaongelea walimu, tunaongelea kila kitu. Na kila kitu ndio inaitwa sasa competency based education system. Na hii CBE is the best system in the world. It is the best system in the world. Why? Kwa sababu inapatia vijana wetu nafasi wajionyeshe kwa talenta ambayo wako nayo. Inawapatia nafasi waweze ku practice the thing they know. It's about talent. It's about what you are good in. Sio kulazimishwa kufanya vitu ambayo upendi.
But while the ministry paints an optimistic picture, not everyone is convinced. Renowned education expert Professor Amphio Bora has raised serious concern about the CBE mode. According to him, competency is not something that can simply be taught in classroom. It is a natural outcome of a person applying the inborn abilities in a real-world situation. You cannot teach competency, he argues. It is something that emerges when a person applies the natural strength that must first be properly identified. Professor Bora wants that without first diagnosing a student's innate trait, values, and potential, schools risk misplacing learners into pathways that do not align with whom they truly are.
We never at any moment talked about anything called CBC. That is something that was brought out. There was nothing to change in the original 844 system. The objective was we are having quality problems in learning, and we needed methods to infuse to improve the quality of learning. But that wasted, we came up with a committee that ended up with Professor Douglas Odhiambo's commission, and we were there at Kenya Institute of Education. And that's when things went asunder, because some of us who thought our colleagues were in a hurry because money was coming from the World Bank and United Nations were in a hurry to create something.
The money to work.
Yes, and we missed out the diagnostic wing. Today, what is called CBC has a problem, and the problem stems from two things. One, you are not going to say that you're going to deal with the competence of a 6-7-year-old kid when you have no methodology to know that competence. That's number one. Number two, competence by definition is an outcome. Tricks, competence, I see your competence as a result of things you are able to do. That means you cannot teach competence. It is an outcome. So the confusion is wider than you expect. If you walk to a hospital, you don't walk into an X-ray, you don't walk in to a blood testing equipment. There is some prior diagnosis. You have to diagnose and know the exact sickness before you write a prescription and give the medication.
He advocates for a scientific, personalized diagnostic approach before students are aligned to any learning pathway, emphasizing that a talent cannot be guessed or generalized through curriculum alone. As Kenyans prepare for a historical transition under CBE, the debate continues. The debate continues between a structured nation rollout and the urgent need for individualized learning rooted in science and self-awareness. Reporting for Gifted TV, I'm Peter Aching.